of Golden West Financial Corporation. Golden West was sold in 2006, shortly before the blowout of the banks, for $24 billion to Wachovia Bank. People have investigated Golden West's Golden West deals, and many of their mortgages were in the subprime market. You following me? So they bailed out. They sold the bank for $24 billion to Wachovia. They gave, the last I checked, $9 million. The Herbert Sandler and Marion Sandler gave $9 million to the ACLU. Does that answer your question in part?
No, it does in part as to where they got the $9 million, but it just seems to me the type of activities they're engaging in, that they have to be...
Well, but you asked where does the ACLU get money? I'm telling you, from radical liberals like the Sandlers. They gave them $9 million. Now the result is the CIA is being investigated. Could it be because the CIA or the FBI was on the track of investigating Golden West Financial? How do we know that there's not a connection here? How do we know there's not a connection here? That it's all about covering their own tracks? Do we have any way of knowing that? We're in trouble. We're in very, very deep trouble. Who is the watchdog? The Romans had a saying, who is going to watch the watchdogs? Who is going to watch the watchdogs? The ACLU is now your watchdog? Psychotic, drug-addicted psychopaths are now the watchdog of the United States of America? Houston, Texas. AJ, you're on the Savage Nation.
Big time Savage, baby. I want you to keep the good work up. And don't you let these idiots get your morale down, big guy. Because, Jay, Savage, we all behind you no matter what they say. Hey, we're going to get your name off of this daggone thing. If we have to definitely email them 10 times a day to get your name off this doggone list.
Well, AJ, the day will come. We definitely will get to you. You know, the day will come that I will call upon you and every one of my listeners. It may be a protest march. It may be getting 10,000 or 20,000 people outside the White House or outside the British Embassy. It may be a boycott of British and Scottish goods. But it will be. It will be. I'm telling you, as I stand here, it will be. I will not let this go on much longer. 1-800-449-8255 is the phone number, michaelsavage.com. We're talking about who gives the money to the ACLU. And that's why it's important for us to discuss this. Sal in New York, WOR is calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, my friend. I think this is a stupid war that we can't interrogate them and they cut our heads off. This is a joke. What are they going to do? We catch them and give them ice cream? This is a joke. And another thing, my friend, I got a wife. She's a lady of color. We got kids. My kids are not African Americans. My kids are Americans. I don't understand this nonsense about African American when you're born in America. Can you help me?
Well, I have no answer to that. I mean, I don't know what the words mean when you say, well, I guess it comes from Italian American, I suppose, where people talk about their national origins in that regard, where they came from. In that regard, it maybe makes sense, but I don't see the necessity to continue to talk about that. I thought we're supposed to have a president who unites us rather than divides us. I think that's the bigger issue, correct?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you something, Dr. Harris. I love you, and I'm going to continue to listen to you, and I'm going to listen to you till the day I die. So you have a good day, my friend. Good night.
Well, thank you. See, I got all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds. Here's an article from USA Today from 2008. Sandler defends Golden West and Wachovia debacle. Did you hear this? Once hailed for running their savings and loan company like an endearing mom-and-pop shop, the Sandlers were the biggest winners in the Golden West sale. They're also the biggest donors to the ACLU, so far as I know. By the way, the Sandlers helped found and are among the largest benefactors of the Center for American Progress, a so-called progressive think tank. So if you want to know where they're getting their money from, start with the Sandlers. Ask yourself why Herbert Sandler, who created Golden West Financial Corporation, which sold to Wachovia before the collapse of the banks, ask why they're giving so much money to groups like the ACLU and the Center for American Progress, who are now going after the CIA, and my guess will soon be going after the FBI. Ask yourself if there's any connection between a potential investigation or investigations, without implying any wrongdoing, why the smartest people in finance, the Golden West Sandlers, would be doing a thing like this. Why would Herb and Marion Sandler, widely regarded as the shrewdest of the savings and loan set, be giving so much money to these radical left-wing groups? Can you figure it out? You see, Marion and Herbert Sandler formed a holding company called Golden West Financial Corporation in 1963 when they acquired the Oakland, California-based Golden West Savings. Nothing wrong with that. That's part of the American dream, isn't it, to build a nice business? But when you look at what happened to our banks recently, shortly after they sold to Wachovia, as you well know, there was a collapse of banks in America. Was there not? Well, they made $24 billion when they sold their little S&L to Wachovia. And what are they doing with their money? Well, they're devoting it to groups like the ACLU and other radical left-wing progressive organizations. You say, well, they have a right to do so, which they do. They certainly do. But you ask me who gives money to the ACLU? Last I checked, the Sandlers of S&L fame are the largest single donors in ACLU history. I could be mistaken, but they gave $9 million to the ACLU. Why? Why are they so interested in the ACLU? Texas, Jim, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Michael, thank you all for what you do for standing up for us on the radio. My comment was on the CIA, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for the CIA and the FBI.
And so do I. Without them, we would have been dead a long time ago. The country would have been lost. Okay, we know that. I don't understand how anybody in America doesn't understand that.
I think they're our last defense. I keep hoping every morning that we get up, there's going to be a news story that the CIA has uncovered this crooked, just exposed the crooked government that we have.
Or how about the CIA is going to expose the ACLU for their foreign ties? Or how about the CIA has finally uncovered the relationship between Media Matters and foreign entities? Wouldn't those be wonderful headlines if they were true?
Well,
Well, let me explain something. No organism, whether it be a nation or a human being, can survive if its immune system is compromised or destroyed. And by going after the white blood cells, as the ACLU does regularly, meaning the police, the soldiers, the Marines, and now the CIA, what they're trying to do is, in essence, destroy our white blood cells, our internal defense mechanism. They will kill us all if they're not stopped. And I don't know what it's going to take for the people to finally rise up and say, enough is enough. I want to unmask the character who's running the ACLU. We want a thorough investigation of this man because he has a name. We want to know why he hates the CIA. We want to know why he hates the FBI. We want to know why he hates America and who he works for. Wouldn't that be a good series of questions to begin with?
It would be excellent if somebody has got the cojones to ask them. I hope they do.
We can ask all the questions we want, but who's going to follow it up? Brian Williams of ABC News?
No, I'm hoping that the CIA...
You think one of the empty skirts in the media is going to follow up a question like this? Are they going to look into who the head of the ACLU is and what his background is? Are they going to look into the connections between Media Matters and foreign powers? Are they going to look into why the Sandlers gave $9 million to the ACLU? You think you're going to see that in a local newspaper? Before this show is over, I can guarantee you that this question series, this line of questioning will be ended. No reporter in America will touch these questions. Not one.
By the government.
Not one. And that's why Michael Savage is on the banned in Britain list. That is why the vermin in Britain, the Labour government, released the Lockerbie bomber, but will not take my name off a list of murderers and terrorists. That is why the rat vermin in the American left continues to say I belong on that list and continues to support the Lockerbie bombers. Have you heard one person on the left say the Lockerbie bomber should not have been released? Did you hear one person in the media say that from MSNBC, More Snotty Nonsense by Chicks? Did any one of the empty suits on MSNBC say this is an outrage? Because I must have missed it. In essence, they cheered it. They went along with the program. So that's why I say to you, it's one man, it's David and Goliath. And I'm not Goliath, I'm David. But the vermin will have you believe I'm Goliath. One man alone, think about it, against an entire government. Is this not a repeat of history? Now, I've been thinking about the David and Goliath story. I am going to win because I'm right and Goliath is wrong. I will win. It's going to probably take a lot more time than I thought. Even though I'm right, even though I'm innocent, and even though they're wrong and even though they're evil, doesn't mean that things change overnight. And that's because we have a complicit and compliant radical left-wing media that refuses to cover the story, and that includes your favorite talk show hosts who are now on the side of the opposition. Do you know that your talk show hosts that you think are on your side and the side of America, by not covering this story, even though they may hate my guts, even though they may fear me because I'm 100 times smarter than them, Even though they may fear me because I'm their competitor, by not covering the story, you know that they've taken the side of the opposition. They have de facto taken the side of the British government. Put that in your golf bag and hit it, Rush. I'll be right back.
Savage. On the air, online, and on the go. This is Talk 910 KNEW.
All right. I've told you what I wanted to say. I've laid it out for you as clear as a bell. I've given you my opinion on a couple of topics. I've asked a couple of questions. And now we're going to go to something a little lighter because I can't sustain this kind of a focus for hours and hours and hours a day. If you want to call me on this, the phone number is 1-800-449-8255. I will tell you that living well is the best revenge. I mean, I can talk about lifestyle issues just to calm down a little bit because I do know how to relax.